Celebrate Suffolk with Leslie Dolphin on BBC Radio Suffolk.
Leslie, the Suffolk Medal was created about 2 years ago now, and it is, in simple terms, it is Suffolk's greatest accolade to one of its own. And only 3 are presented every year, but it's an opportunity to really single out people who have done something extraordinary for this county and whose contribution we all want to remember. It's a beautiful medal designed by Maggie Hambling, a lovely silver medal in a box created by an Ipswich firm of carpenters. It's very significant, and it's going to be fully recorded in the record office in Ipswich, in the hold. There'll be a section there, and the sort of people who are receiving this medal are just as important as any one of those great Suffolk people of the past that we all think about. And so I'm absolutely delighted. It's a great honour to present this medal.
You have the citation there, haven't you? And you're going to read some of that for us.
I'm going to. Grenville, I've never met you, but I know so many of your friends and colleagues, and it is a huge privilege for me today, as Her Majesty the Queen's representative in Suffolk, to present you across the airwaves, thanks to BBC Radio Suffolk, with the Suffolk Medal, Suffolk's greatest accolade to one of its own. Not showing off, Grenville, is a wonderful Suffolk quality, which you have a great deal of. And I'm going to now read the citation that I would have read to you if I had been able to present this beautiful medal in person. And I understand that someone has already delivered the medal so that you hopefully will be holding it as I speak. Grenville, your passion for wildlife and the natural environment, especially that of Suffolk, was sparked at the age of 15 by being introduced to bird ringing on the Suffolk coast, studying migrant and breeding birds in the Blythe area. Since 1963, I understand that you have devoted the majority of your life to initiating and volunteering for environmental projects. You have used your lifetime passion for wildlife and the natural environment to shape the landscape throughout Suffolk with the creation of 62 woodlands that are now owned by local communities. I believe you began with Frithie Wood in Lawshall, which is a nationally important but previously neglected woodland. You worked with the Greenlight Trust to obtain funding to purchase the woodland and worked with marginalised and disadvantaged individuals to restore it. It is a wonderful place. The woodlands have been brought to life through supporting and educating literally thousands of marginalised and disadvantaged people in the importance of nature. You have been driven not just by the love of the environment, but also by a love of people and a strong sense of community. You have inspired people through your selfless and understated support, which is a true Suffolk characteristic. All those who come into contact with you still talk about you years later and speak with great warmth of your calm, generous support, delivered in an entirely selfless and understated manner. You represent the very, very best of Suffolk. When I consider, Grenville, all those woods, all those lives you have improved, and over 50 years of exceptional and unselfish volunteering, I can only say that you are the most deserving possible recipient of this great and beautiful medal. So, Grenville, it gives me great pleasure, and you'll have to imagine that I'm with you, to present you with the Suffolk Medal, which comes with enormous gratitude from all those of us who live in Suffolk and love this county. We owe you an enormous debt of gratitude.
And as if by magic, virtually, I think you have the medal there with you, don't you, Grenville and Elizabeth?
Yes, Leslie, we've got a beautiful walnut box here. It's been waiting to be opened. It was made by Otis Luxton, a wonderful Suffolk carpenter. And inside, which I'm now presenting to Grenville, is a beautiful medal. We're absolutely overwhelmed with the design, and the fact that Maggie designed this is just, well, we're very emotional about it. I'll say no more. Grenville wanted me to read the piece that he has written, so I'm going to do that now. So these are Grenville's words. I was totally surprised when I learnt that I had been granted this award. I have to thank those who, over the past 50 years, have given me the opportunity to have such a rewarding and enjoyable time with so many lovely people. Greenlight Trust and the Suffolk Wildlife Trust in particular have helped me undertake so many diverse projects and tasks which I would not have believed that I would have had the chance to be involved in. This award is not just for me, but for all those who have preceded me and followed through with projects like the Community Woodlands with Greenlight Trust and Blackford Reserve with the Suffolk Wildlife Trust. With the Community Woodlands, I estimate 700 people have formed steering groups to manage the projects. At Lackford, I joined an established group of volunteers who had already been managing the site with permission of the Gravel Extraction Company. Grenville also wants me to add that he would like to thank me, Elizabeth, for the support I have given him, and that with the help of village volunteers here in Lawshall, I am still leading the Seed to Tree programme at All Saints Primary School. We work with all the year groups in the school tree nursery in Frittywood and in Goldenwood. The citation refers to the many people who speak kindly of Grenville, and we all know that this award is not just about what he has achieved, but it is an acknowledgement of the love and respect we all have for him. Grenville is indeed a wonderful man. And those were Grenville's words, written by him.
Thank you so much for that. We also have with us, who I think people you probably know very well, Grenville, we have Tom Brown, who's the CEO of the Greenlight Trust. And I know you want to pay tribute as well, don't you, Tom?
Yeah, thank you, Leslie. I guess what I'd like to say really is how pleased I am that Grenville's contribution has been recognised, really. And it's quite emotional listening to Elizabeth conveying Grenville's words. Grenville's been an integral part of Greenlight Trust from the moment Rick and Nigel founded it, really. And as the citation that was read kind of highlights, he's always been a bit of an unsung hero because he's been calm, engaging, empathetic and supportive to kind of everyone and always gone above and beyond. And Elizabeth mentioned those community woodlands, which he inspired those people to start and to continue, and observed Grenville going into a room where he's met by those people who have become friends through that process. And although Greenlight Trust as a charity has kind of grown and evolved, and we now support almost 2,000 people who are kind of facing challenges in their lives, their mental health issues and recovery from substance misuse and special educational needs. All of that kind of comes from seeds that the founders and Grenville especially started, where he started one of the first groups, which was a group aimed at getting those people with mental health issues out into the woodland and supporting them. And whilst that's been refined over the years and we've moved on, I think we have to remember where we started and kind of thank Grenville especially for what he done to move that forward. And I guess my own observation would be that it's so nice to see someone get recognition who is so selfless and would never put themselves forward.
Thank you so much for that. Also with us, Julian Rowton. And Julian, I know that you've worked for many years alongside Grenville as well, haven't you?
Yes, well, actually, Grenville was a trustee when I first became chief exec of Suffolk Wildlife Trust, and he was then my chairman. And I have to say, you couldn't have had a better chairman than Grenville for me at the beginning of my career. So knowledgeable, so supportive, always listening, and always calm. And these are all the qualities you really need in the chairman. And it was those sort of selfless qualities that have come up time and time again that I think most reflect what Grenville brings, because he's always there to help out. And I think one of the things that was in Grenville's word was it was so understated what was said that he was saying what he had achieved, because actually at Lackford Lakes, which is our flagship site, but at the time that Grenville was pulling together this working group, we had no centre. We didn't even have ownership of all but a tiny part of that site. And actually, through Grenville's work, all those threads came together, those relationships came together, and that is because of that approach that Grenville brings of the warmth, the passion for the cause that brings people together. And it wasn't just at Lackford Lakes, but we also had a number of other really important projects at the time, actually the purchase of Dingle Marshes, which was such a special place to Grenville, but also creation of places like Hen Reed Beds. And I think in all of these things, there's always points where there are potential difficulties or hurdles to overcome. And it was the calmness that Grenville brought that, in a sense, made people come together. And that includes some rather unglamorous but quite important things at the time when he was chairman, when we really did need to do something about our governance, modernise our governance. And I know this is really dry and boring stuff, but actually for charities and organisations, it's important to get right. And that was something that Grenville did make happen. And again, you've got to be sensitive to people at times like that, and therefore the perfect person to help see that through. And the benefits have been something we've reaped really ever since. So for me, working with Grenville was always absolutely delightful. And I count myself as very lucky to have had him as my chairman at such an important time.
We rely on you, Elizabeth, to convey how Grenville's looking at this moment.
Well, it's rather emotional. It was emotional hearing Claire's, read the citation, and she sent the most beautiful letter to Grenville, which made us weep. So from him, a big thank you.
Thank you all for helping get this award.
So Grenville said thank you to everyone who helped him get this award. And he really does want to express that he feels it's for everybody, not just him. He's very modest, is our Grenville.
Passionate about Suffolk.